history.
Oh my god!
This is Alireza Firouzja. He is the youngest person to ever reach 2800, former world number 2, and he just lost in 9 moves. But how could such a strong player lose so quickly? You see, today I'm going to show you 7 deadly opening traps that even Grandmasters could fall for. I'm not talking about those cheap tricks you probably already know, like the Englund gambit or blackburn shilling trap. The traps used in this video are ones I've personally used to destroy some really strong players, including my most recent classical over the board game where I beat a 2440 rated IM in just 13 moves. The first trap we're going to look at is one of the absolute deadliest out there, not because it's some crazy sacrifice, but because it occurs when you least expect it in one of the tamest openings that exist, the London system. When black develops their bishop like this, we continue normally with knight e2, and after e6 we play the seemingly harmless queen a4. It looks like we're just getting out of the pin and preparing to set up some sort of battery. However, our plan is far more nefarious than that. Most players play bishop d6 here, a simple developing move that can't go wrong, right? Boom. They can't take our bishop, because then the knight would be hanging. Most players attempt to take on f4, but instead of taking back, we take on b7. Suddenly the rook, knight and bishop are all hanging simultaneously. Black usually ignores this and castles, to which we take on c6, and they can't defend both the bishop and the rook. Even if they don't take on f4, there's nothing they can really do. Defend with the rook, we just take it anyway, and the c6 knight is lost. But if you thought this trap was cool, get ready for the next one where we sacrifice the queen on move 12 against what is usually the most boring opening in the world, the Berlin defense. However, we won't go for the endgame, because after they take, we go for the rook e1 variation. Black retreats and usually white takes on e5 here, but we're gonna go for a bit of a rarer approach, knight c3. Likely our opponents will take the bishop, anticipating us to take back with the knight. What they might not expect is that now we take on e5. We've not even reached the trap, and yet a lot of people already blunder by going knight takes e3, which just straight up loses a piece after knight takes e6, bishop e7, knight takes e7, knight takes d1, and knight g6, discovered check. Black has the block with the queen, and after we take, we're just gonna be a piece up because their knight is trapped. But what if they don't take on c3? The best move is bishop e7, which just becomes like a normal Berlin, but most players actually take on e5, and all of a sudden the win rate shoots up to almost 80%. But how is that possible in such a balanced position? You see, after we take back bishop e7, we ignore the hanging knight on b5 and instead play knight d5, and there is no way to defend the bishop. So, most players understandably castle, but now it's over. Because after knight takes check, king h8, we play the seemingly toothless queen h5, but when black plays the reasonable d7 to d6, they might not have seen the brilliant. And after black takes back, we have rook h5 with a beautiful Anastasia checkmate. But what if they defend against it? Let's say they go g6, attacking our queen, queen h6, and now they play d6. However, this doesn't stop us in any way, shape or form, because here we go rook h5, threatening checkmate, so they have to take. And now we have queen f6, checkmate. Now this next trap is so good that even Mittens fell for it against me in 2023. Yes, that one annoying one elo cat which made Hikaru look like a beginner. But before I show you, I just want to let you know that I've made it so my community at the Chess University is now free and you can join via the link in the description or pinned comment. A lot of people love the Caro-Kann, but personally, my favorite thing about 1c6 is playing against it. And here is a prime example why. It starts off with the advanced Caro-Kann, which then turns into the tile variation with h4. Now the most common move is h5, to which we play this tricky sideline, bishop g5. The point is that we prevent black from playing e6 as that would hang the queen, so instead they go queen b6, attacking the b2 pawn while also moving out of the pin. However, instead of defending the b2 pawn, we go bishop d3, and after the exchange, in over 50% of games, black takes the bait on b2, which is a huge mistake. We go e6, and after they take our rook, there's queen b3, trapping the queen on a1. If they try to escape, we take on b7, and suddenly we are threatening to take both the rook and deliver checkmate. If they defend the b7 pawn, their queen will get trapped in just a few moves. But if you think a trap like this is too unlikely to happen to you, the next one will be different. Because I have mathematically calculated that this opening will occur in 25% of your white games, and your opponent is 60% likely to fall for this trap. This was the first opening I ever learned, and the first ever trap I successfully used. It starts off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Then we go c3, the Ponziani. Here black's most common move is by far knight f6, to which we strike in the center. But wait, the e4 pawn is hanging, so black takes it. This in itself is actually the best move. However, after d4 to d5 attacking the knight, 90% of players don't play the correct move bishop c5. Instead, most of them retreat with the knight to e7. This means the e5 pawn is now unprotected and we can safely capture it. But here comes the twist. The majority of players in this position play the very logical move d6, forcing us to retreat with a knight. Or do they? Because here we have bishop b5 check. The king has nowhere to flee, and if they block with a bishop, we just take. If they block with a pawn, we also just take. Because if they then take our knight, we take on b7 with a discovered check, to which we'll get a new queen. Now comes the answer to the question you've all been waiting for. How did Alireza lose in just 9 moves? It starts off in a Neo-Catalan. Black develops the light square bishop early, and after 95 the bishop drops back. White goes for queen b3, attacking the newly undefended b7 pawn, to which black defends with queen b6, followed by white taking on d5. Now, black can't take back immediately as that would hang a pawn, so it's important they exchange queens first. However, even then, if they take back, there are still some problems after knight c3 due to some knight b5 ideas. Therefore, it's easy to be tempted to play the in-between move bishop e4, attacking the rook while also planning to take back the pawn with the bishop. This is exactly what Alireza did. But what he missed was that white does not have to protect the rook. No, instead we can take on c6. If black takes the bait, we have the brilliant rook takes a7, because when black takes back, there is c7 and promotion is inevitable. Sticking with the theme of the Catalan, this is likely the trap I've pulled off most often, including in that game I mentioned earlier. It kicks off with a standard Catalan setup. After black plays bishop b4, we block with a knight, to which black cannot capture the c4 pawn just yet because it loses a piece to queen a4, so they castle first. Once we develop our other knight, they finally seize the chance to take the pawn, and we immediately hit back to reclaim it. Black usually tries to defend, so we start undermining their pawn structure. This is where the trap snaps shut. After the obvious move c6, we take on b5. They take back, and we have the easy to miss knight g5. The point is that black cannot block the long diagonal with the knight due to queen takes h7. If they counter with h6, we play the ice cold h4. If they take our knight, the queen h7 checkmate threat will be reinstated thanks to the newly opened h-file. Either way, the a8 rook is basically doomed, and we are pretty much destined to gain a decisive amount of material. Before I show you the final trap, I recommend you check out my leeches, where I have a study where you can practice all these traps for free. Link in the description like always. But swiftly moving on. With the next trap, you'll be able to destroy one of the most popular Sicilians, the dragon defense. Instead of going for some sort of mainline, we play this unusual yet sound move f4 called the 11-fish variation. After bishop g7, we play the unexpected e5, attacking the knight. Now, most players take, and after we take back, they have 3 reasonable move options with the knight. But what if I told you the 2 most played ones lose immediately, knight g4 and knight d5? But why? Pause the video and try to find the solution. That's right, either way it's bishop b5 check. For example, on knight g4 after bishop b5, they cannot block with the bishop because then there is queen takes g4. And if they sidestep with the king, there is knight e6 with a discovered attack on the queen. If instead of knight g4 they play knight d5, followed by blocking with the bishop, then the knight is done defended. And if they play king f8, white has an almost 90% win rate after castles. Now, it's your turn to go out there and win using these traps. And once you've successfully trapped someone, feel free to share your game in the Discord server. I hope you liked the video. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. See you next time.